everyone. Good morning. Good morning and good evening. Real quick, I don't know if my sub alerts are working. I don't know if my sub alerts are working because they weren't working yesterday. They were working the day before, but not yesterday. So if anyone subs or if anyone tries any like bit donation thing, I don't know if it's gonna work, and I'm sorry. But don't let that deter you. I hope that's all right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's been a while. Well, I mean, I say it's been a while. I've been gaming, and yes, after this stream, I will be playing Rivals again with camera this time. I've been on a bit of a Rivals binge. I'm sorry. I've gotten into it again. It's one of those things. I guarantee you, I'm gonna play it for like 3 weeks straight, and then I'm gonna be like, eh. Yeah! It worked! I can't hear him moaning. I still can't hear the sound, but I can see him. Oh, thank you, Alice. That one didn't work. Oh, no, there he is. Wait, I think I know why I can't hear the sound. Oh, so it turns out I'm stupid. All right. No, it works. It works. Okay, you want to know why I can't hear the sound? I didn't turn on the audio on my end. Oh my god. Who is she? Who is she? She's an idiot is what she is. Yeah. Now I can hear it again. All right. Oh my god. I was wondering what I pressed when I did that last time. Okay, everything's working again. Everything's working again. That'll do it. Oh god. Such embarrassing technical difficulties. I know, rookie mistake. Oh my god, the sweet dulcet moans. Well, I'm glad he's back. I did miss him. Anyway, chapter reading time. I haven't seen anything on it. Obviously, I always manage to avoid spoilers. Thank God. I always got my little minions out there telling me, Mel, don't go online, don't do this. Oh, yeah, the poll. Okay, guys. It's bots. Now listen, I was already suspicious at the fact that Zoro was winning #1 in Japan the first time. Not because I don't like Zoro, but statistically over time, like the One Piece poll, right? The One Piece poll that's going on. Statistically over time, that doesn't make sense that Zoro was winning #1 in Japan. And you want to know why that doesn't make sense? Because every single poll that's ever been held, that's not global, has been held in Japan. So every character poll we've ever gotten within the manga is always Japanese, right? Luffy always wins. So I was looking at the poll for Japan, like in the Japanese region. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Zoro should not be winning because Luffy should be winning. Because he's always winning the polls in Japan, like always. So I was like, something is afoot here. Something is nefariously afoot here. Yeah, right, Sky? Because it wasn't making sense. And I was trying to explain it to people like, this is not me disliking Zoro. It just doesn't make sense because Luffy always wins the polls in Japan. Always. So it just doesn't make sense. People trying to show Oda they hate Gear 5. No, it wasn't. Gear 5 was a smash hit in Japan. The way the West perceived Gear 5 was not fucking taken the same way in Japan. You want to know what a lot of people keep saying? A lot of people keep saying Sanji's not that popular in Japan. Who the fuck is lying? Who the fuck is lying? Someone said that and now everyone's saying that. Yeah. Nope, gotta start an argument. All right, thank you. Thank you for the sub. But who is saying that? Someone said that and now everyone repeats that like it's fact. Sanji's unbelievably fucking popular in Japan. I don't know why someone started that. He's the one that literally has his own restaurant in Universal in the summer. That's Sanji's restaurant. You go there for Sanji and for maybe extras that might be there. But Sanji is the draw there. You go there because you like Sanji, not because you like One Piece specifically. So I was like, who in the fucking world is lying and saying that Sanji's not popular in Japan? However, him now becoming #1 in Japan, that was a bit like he became like, if you see the vote dates, if you see, whoa, thank you so much for that. Is it going to pop up? Where's the donation noise? Anyway, Sorry, I don't know why my my donation fart sound didn't happen, but Luffy no me, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I just got a $50 tip there, donation there. I really appreciate that. I'm sorry that my thing didn't pop up. That's frustrating. It's just a fart sound, honestly. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna say before the bots started going crazy is what the results. So the results that we got just recently to show Sanji being number one, or these other characters like Sanji being number one in other regions, that was before this influx of bots, because there's clearly bots, because they got what, 20 million votes in a day or something. That was before that. However, it still doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji being in the top three, that makes perfect sense. But anyone beating Luffy in Japan, that does not make sense. That does not make sense. It just, again, if you look over the years of the polls that have always been held, and they're always held in Japan, it doesn't make sense. Luffy always wins. So it's like something is afoot. Like first, Zoro was number one in Japan, now Sanji's number one in Japan. There is something going on. There is something going on, because that should be Luffy. However, I will say, while there's tons and tons and tons of bots that are clearly happening right now, right? It's fucking impressive that Luffy remains in the top three always. Always. He's always either one or two, right? It's always one or two. I don't think any bots are going for Luffy, because why would Luffy need bots, right? Like, I don't think anyone would be setting up bots for Luffy. He's always the popular one. He doesn't need the bots. So I think it's really impressive that amongst all these clear bots that are happening, he's still in the top three. He's still in the top three. That's just incredibly impressive. Because I know Luffy's not getting like the bot influx. Fourth in Europe, now that's bots. That's bots. He should always be in the top three. Well, he was last time as well. During the last worldwide poll, Zoro and Sanji kept going top 1 and 2. The last worldwide poll also had bots. In fact, it had a really, really bad reputation with bots. That's why so many people are talking about bots now. Because in the last worldwide poll, it was like a big problem, and they said this time we're gonna keep an eye on the bots, guys. Like they said that they were like, we're gonna filter out the bots this time, and then it's like, you got like 20 million in a day. I don't think you are. Anyway, it's whatever. Look, it's a popularity contest. It's kind of a nothing contest, right? Like Sanji's gonna be my favorite character whether he does or doesn't get number one. I don't give a shit. He could be number fucking 1,000 on that list and I wouldn't give a damn. He'd still be my favorite character. And you know what? I hope less people like him, because then I can gatekeep him, and then I can keep those fake fans away from my boy. I'm kidding. I would like more people to like Sanji properly, right? Anyway. All right, let's read the chapter. Enough about all this. Oh, let's begin. I've missed the chapter. Bobbin the Fixer, so Oda has to draw him. What was the thing? People were like, if we vote for a character that we haven't seen, and Oda has to draw them. Who was the character that people were talking about? Was it like the man with the flame scar or the burn scar or something? Joy Boy? Oh, I mean, he'd just draw the silhouette, wouldn't he? Oh, Zoro's dad. That's what it was. Yeah. No, Zoro's dad was one of them. They were like, guys, if we vote for Zoro's family, he has to draw them. That's what I was remembering. It was Zoro's parents. We've seen Imo and Joy Boy. They're silhouetted, but he'd just draw them in a silhouette. He would beat you guys. As in, like, he'd win that mental war. That mental war game. He'd just draw them as silhouettes. It wouldn't work. Mind you, he'd do that with Zoro's family too. Pin Zoro on top 5. Alright. Also, Law's still very popular. I remember I was talking to someone in my Twitter comments about the popularity stuff. Because the only character that's ever beaten Luffy ever in any Oh, no, they didn't beat Luffy, sorry. They beat Zoro, the only character that's ever beaten Zoro. It wasn't Luffy, it was Zoro that he beat, wasn't it? Yeah. The only character that's ever beaten Zoro is Law. Law got second in Dressrosa. And I was talking to someone about that, and they were like, well, maybe Law's popularity is going to dip because he's not been in the manga. And I was like, you fool. You foolish fool. No, it is not dipped. Once the girlies like a character, that is their character for life. For life. No, they're not just gonna let go of Law like that. That's not what's gonna happen. So, I mean, it was a good-hearted conversation, right? Like, it was like, I mean, yeah, but no, Law's popularity is definitely not fallen. 100% it's not fallen. He's always going to be a really popular character. The girlies like Law. Law and Sanji are some of the most popular characters amongst the women. Law, Sanji, and Nami. Girlies love those three characters. And thank God for that. Robin as well, actually. But Boa Hancock, I think, is more popular than Robin for the girls. I think so. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I'm 90% certain on that. I'm pretty sure she's really popular for the girls. Which makes sense, because I love Boa Hancock. I mean, makes sense as in, I'm not saying Bo is a better character than Robin. I'm saying that I can see the appeal, because I really like her as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's a really popular character. Oh, I said 2, my bad. Zoro's always been close to Luffy in terms of popularity. Most of the botting is Nami and Sanji fans. Again, Zoro's never beat Luffy. Mate. He's never beat Luffy in any of the polls. And again, the polls in Japan that always happen. He's never beat Luffy. That's why this is weird. That's why when I saw that, I was like, there are bots afoot. He's never beaten Luffy before. It doesn't make sense that it's happening now. After like, what? We've got 20 plus years of this. And he's never done it. Now suddenly, in an online poll, he beats him, and it's like, no, I don't think so. It doesn't make sense. Luffy's too powerful. He's just too powerful. Sanji's #1 for 4 regions now. Yeah, he's #1 in a lot of regions. I'm not saying there's not botting. I'm saying that there's botting. I'm saying a lot of characters are getting botting. What I'm thinking is happening is a lot of characters are getting botting and not Luffy. I think currently everyone is getting bots except for Luffy. And I think Luffy's just that powerful. Girl Law had effect in boosting popularity. Yes, I do. I 100% do. Anyway, look. There'll be another poll in the future, and the poll is going to be in Shonen Jump, right? And it's going to be a character poll that's only held in Japan, and then Luffy's going to get #1 again, and then you guys are going to go, oh. Again, it's always what happens. He always gets #1 in Japan, so it's just strange. It's just strange. Anyway, let's read the chapter. Whatever. It's a popularity contest. It's whatever. Let's read. Thanks for that. Really appreciate that, Alice. Luffy should be #1. Chapter 1177, and we've got no break. Oh, the cover art is so gorgeous. Furious is the title. Robin planting flowers in a bed dug up by moles by Mrs. Fuji. Oh, I really like her little outfit too, with her long stripy stockings. Oh, that is so cute. I'm sorry, oh, and there's a mole with a little straw hat. I just love the cover arts. I love them a lot more than the cover stories. They're just so much more endearing and sweet. Like, it's like a look into if they look into their lives in like the chill times, you know what I mean? It's so sweet. It's so sweet. Oh, and she's holding up like, what is that? Like turnips behind her? Oh. There's a mole smoking. Interesting. Well, of course he's drawing her with bangs now. He's updated her image. It's like how when he did the time skip and now all art he ever does is time skip stuff. It's just what it is. That's what she looks like in the manga now. It makes sense. I don't think that's anything strange. Of course he's going to do that. Oh, she's so pretty. All right. Furious. Western Village Elbaf. Look out, gotta hurry. Whoa, the giant pirates are gonna fight. It's gonna get hairy, kid, inside with you. You're not allowed to watch this. Oh. Oh, but he's really excited to watch it. Oh, he's so cute. I really like Colin. Colin, it's a shame his name is that, but you know, come back to us, captains. We've got ample strength and regenerating bodies. Enjoy the feeling of liberation, unchained by any concepts of evil. The feeling of liberation. What an interesting thing to say. By any concepts of evil. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Just feel this power, Captain Dory. Oof. Oh god, Dory's really cool. Look at how you submit to a new master. So much for the pride of the giant pirates. You empty-headed fools should be ashamed of yourselves. Sorry, the art is really... Fuck, I really like Dory and Broggy. Team Chopper by the lift, Sunworld. Hey, stop this. We were comrades in battle. I can't attack you guys. DDT? Of the T name? DDT? One of mine? What? DD? Who the fuck is that? Rhodes? I've not been aware of... No, DDT? Bro, they're part of my clan. Like... DDT? The will of DDT? MelonTeee, it's the will of the tea. You can't attack us. Is that your excuse? Come to our side, Kashi. It's incredible to have an undying body, MelonTeee. You say you can't attack us, but could you do it even if you wanted to? Let's see you try. Gah, I thought they all went away. Oh, poor little Chopper. Be careful, Kashi. If you get surrounded, you'll be turned into a demon too. It's too easy. Yeah, -3. I know. It was a look. It was a hopeful thought. Wrestlers and moves. Oh, it's wrestling. All right. See, the wrestling stuff's gonna go whoop right over my head. The wrestling stuff I was never into, I'm afraid. Sorry, I'm looking at Little Gaban. Please, Kashi, you gotta fight. I can't. We've been friends for decades. I can't hurt them. Oof. Sorry, I just love Imu's powers. Kashi, hey, Gantonio, we've known each other for ages, but I gotta get something off my chest. Whenever you ask for a bite, you took half. I'm sorry, Captain. The difference between what's going on with Kashi, oh god, I can't. I knew them. I've known them. And Broggy going, you motherfucker. You motherfucker. Eating all my shit. Oh my god, he was holding that in for too long. Perhaps this is like therapy for him. Gungnir? I don't know how to say. I'm sorry. Whoa, Ikoku sovereignty. Oh my god, giant trauma. Guys, I can't do the battle. I can't do the battle names, but I'm looking at the art and enjoying it. 3-sword style red ogre. Mega rage. How interesting! How interesting he uses the red ogre move. Ooh. Oh, the reason that's interesting is because Dory and Broggy are supposed to be like the red and the blue ogre, which is a mythological tale regarding like the red and the blue Onis, right? And how they were like equal upon each other as they like fought all the time. Zoro and Sanji are supposed to reflect Dory and Broggy. They are. So that's why Zoro using a red ogre move. I know what this is about. I know what this is about. You fucking cheeky bastard, Oda. You cheeky bastard. Oh. Just cheeky. Of course he does that. Man. Love this man. The pride of Elbaf. Oh, terrifically fatal stuff. Don't worry, you guys won't die from this. But do they seem a little too eager? Yeah, just a little bit. Fucking Christ, by the way. Zoro obliterating that giant's face, his head, into like pieces of like cake. Oh my god. That is a little bit too much, maybe. I think he didn't have to do all of that, but okay. Other battle happy freaks. Well, this is of course Hyrule seeing like the pride and the history of the giants, because like the giant pirates are of the old generation, right? Hyrule aside. So this is Dory and Broggy's bread and butter. This is what they're good at. This is what they have always culturally held. So they're just fucking going for it, because this is their Elbaf, right? So we're seeing the two sides, and while we get the negatives, we also get the positives of the warrior culture of Elbaf, right? Because that's what they're showing right now. So that's why Yarrow's going, Jesus. Goodness. Little too eager. Team Chopper. What? Run away, Kashi. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Oh. Oh, knock it off, you jerk! Gagaha, that doesn't hurt. It doesn't even... Oh. Oh. Huh? He's back, but why? Sorry, a slap? Wait, because he landed on his back? Is that why? Was he flipped upright? Is that why? Oh, it's not explained. I'm assuming it's because he's been flipped upright. Look at the demon. Oh! Oh, the demon got squished. Well, he did get flipped back. The devil got beaten out of him. Oh, okay. They're being controlled. Oh, peel. Okay, they're being controlled by the literal devil. Well, didn't mine sound more fun? That you put them on their back and they flip. Chopper exorcism slap. Slapping the evil out of someone. They do flip back over when they get the demon out of them though. Yeah, he slapped the demon out of him. Do we think that's a fruit thing? Or do we think that's just he fucking got that little fella off guard? I don't know. I guess we'll get it explained by the Owl Library. Black balls. Black balls? Yum. What? What? Oh. It's nummy. Okay. Okay, it's a weather ball. Oh my god. Oh, sorry, that really threw me that threw me off. I was not aware what was going on there. Yum. Curse you fiends. Do you have any idea what kind of hell awaits commoners who dare to defy God? Oh, yum. Eating this up. Oh, all the god talk and the false but like beliefs of like this kind of shit. Oh god, I'm eating this shit up. Oh, it's just his head. Get your hands off me, you filthy fish. I feel gross just even like repeating that. You know what I mean? I feel gross. When you're just a head, all you can do is bark. Bleh. If we put him in boxes or something, that should keep his parts separate. Buggy the Clown will come. Hang on. Is Buggy made this? Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. Is Buggy more powerful than we first seemed? Buggy the one true god? Or it's just a gag and it's just a Buggy callback. Buggy stocks, wow. Thanks you guys. Supposedly there's a way to finish him off. So these are the knights who protect the Holy Land. Oh, Sanji's sitting on what exactly? Oh, his torso. I think we got too strong, Sanji. Luffy's an emperor now. Yeah, I'd like to believe that, but it's sickening to think that Elbaf was brought to its knees by this scum. That's right, maggots keep overlooking us. Be careful, one of them is still unharmed. Yeah, look, I've got things to say, but we'll get to it. Zeus, there's fire burning all over Elbaf. Sure is, so I want you to keep dropping rain on it. Okay, will do. Dogga ha ha ha. Oh, they're just laughing. Ah, yeah, yeah, and Kudidi. Oh, hey, Nami, Sanji, Frankie, Jinbe. It's enormous, like a Neptunian. If it's with you, then is that Loki? What, you guys are buds? Damn, that's cool. Right? He's so huge. It's ridiculous. Are you all idiots? There you go, making friends with weirdos again. Yeah, Nami. Girl, you're one of them. You're one of his friends, girl. What does that make you? Don't point fingers. You got, what is it, 4 more pointing back at you. Weirdos. Yes, yes, it's nice that he's taking out the monsters, but the flames he's spitting are just making the problem worse. Don't you get it? If you help the enemy burn down Elbaf, then what was the point? Get a clue. Oh, and poor Loki's sweating. Oh, he's being told off. Oh, he's so cute. His little ears being pulled back. Oh my god. Oh, they're so cute. I got yelled at because of you, Loki. I'm destroying the people who are harming Elbaf. Why should I be scolded by your crewmates? Oh, it's just lightning. Why doesn't it work on you? If it did, I'd whoop your butt right now. Oh god. Oh, delightful. It's so delightful. Big, oh, Loki is so cute. He is so cute. I like Ragnar patting Luffy. That's a really, really good panel. That's such a good panel. Oh god. It feels so it feels so like, how do I explain, like 60s cartoon, that panel. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Like he's really taken that well, Tom and Jerry's not 60s, I don't think. That one. He's really taken like a lot of inspiration from old cartoon style, not just old cartoon but old comic, like news. Sorry, I'm trying to make it easier to see, like news column, newspaper, like the funnies, whatever the fuck, the giggles, whatever, the sillies, whatever you guys called it, the ha-has, the funnies. That's such a good panel. Oh, poor Luffy. I got told off because of you. I got yelled at. Oh god. Yep, and the classic lightning doesn't work on him. By the way, I think it's safe to say, just saying, Enel would not be able to deal with Loki. Because I remember someone asked Oda if Enel was on the Earth, would Enel like be one of the most powerful? And Oda went, no. He said, no. There's plenty of people like on the seas that would counter him. It's not just Luffy. I think Loki's one of them. Loki could just eat him and would not be affected by any of his thunder. The fraud. Not a reliable source. Oh, it's lightning. Sorry, I really like that panel. Team Brook Branch Route 8. Please, Usopp, you have to run away. I only did this on my own for personal reasons. She's too dangerous. Oh, you expect me to run and leave a friend behind, Brook. A real warrior doesn't run away. Usopp. I've been dreaming of this place for years and I'm not going to humiliate myself here. More importantly, I'm furious. You see, Brook, these guys are disrespecting Elbaf, sneaking around, kidnapping children. You attack the kingdom with monsters rather than using your own strength, taking over the minds of proud noble warriors and forcing them to kill each other. Your plan is scummy, cowardly, and cheap. Shame on Usopp. Elbaf is a nation of warriors that have lived by their swords, their shields, and their very lives. If you want to rule over them, at least have the pride to fight them head on, you coward. One who rules does not sully their hands with such tawdry matters. Skull Blast Grass! And then fire. Oh shit, right in his face. Oh god, we'll get back to Usopp. Let me finish reading. This is Usopp, Brook. This is the one, the source of the Haki that reached the underworld. Hey, Loki, I'm pissed. Forgiveness was never an option. Thou canst obey or die. Nika Needhog. This battle will divide the world. Alright. So, Usopp consistently and always gets fantastic speeches. He gets fantastic speeches. This is why that scene that he had in Onigashima, it's why I fucking stand by that to the day I die. His scene in Onigashima of him telling the samurai, I will cling to life with snot dripping down my nose, that was specific to Usopp. Because Usopp's fates are not physical. They've never been physical, but it's because he's not a very physically strong character. He's always been the more emotional, right? He's always been someone who holds this specific type of pride and being able to basically help his friends in the ways he can, or help people in the ways he can. Because what he's doing now, as he says, you expect me to run and leave a friend behind, Brook. This is something that he's been doing the entire series. Even when it looks like he's about to run away, or he does run away, you know what he does? He runs back. God, Usopp, the true man, the bravest warrior. Thank you. But thank you for the sub, Croco Mum. But he always runs back. Always. The first time he ran away from a fight ever was Arlong Park. And remember what he did in Arlong Park. Remember what he said. He was running and he thought he escaped and he was like pretending that he got knocked out. And he was like, ha 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 ha, I've managed to trick him. And then he remembered Luffy being like, we're pirates. We're pirates. We live every day as if it's our last. And then he felt shame. And he felt such a shame that he started fighting the fishman. I forgot his name, the Chew guy. And he won that fight, right? It took him a lot, but he won that fight. So now he will keep running back even if he can't exactly physically win, especially not on his own, right? And he'll have people there to help them if he can't win a certain fight. One of the examples would be Usopp with, I think it was Bonchan, wasn't it? Bonchan beat the shit out of him. And Sanji was there to help him with that. That has never been Usopp's forte. It's been told from the beginning of the series that Usopp's forte is doing what he can for the crew. Doing what he's mainly best at. It's why a lot of the fights he has tends to be more mental than anything. Because he's not Luffy. He's not Zoro. He's not Sanji. He's not physically strong. Never really has been. Like, he does some physically strong things, but that's not what he's about. He's always about the back support. That's always what he's been about. So every time he runs from a fight, he will always run back. And in Alabasta, he was going to run from the Miss Merry Christmas Mr. Four fight. But then what happened? Miss Merry Christmas grabbed him and said, Luffy's dead. He's dead. You're not going to see him be Pirate King. That's not what's going to happen. And Usopp said, shut your fucking mouth, you wench. Luffy's not dead. He will be the Pirate King. That was like one of the first like characters that we got to say Luffy is going to be the king of the pirates, by the way. That was Usopp in Alabasta. And that's when he locked the fuck in and said, I can't run from this shit. I have to stay here and be able to, like, you know, be able to help Chopper and be able to defend the honor of Luffy like that, right? He's always been about that. And that fight with Miss Merry Christmas and Mr. Four, that wasn't really him physically winning that. That was Usopp figuring out how to win that. Because remember, Miss Merry Christmas got knocked out because of Mr. Four, because he jumped out of his shoes. He's never been the physically strong character, which is why it really pisses me off that people want him to be. Because that's not ever what he's been. From the very beginning of the series, that is not ever what he's been. He's always been there as an incredible backline support, as someone who will support the crew in the ways that he can, and he does. So many people talk about Dressrosa, but of course what he did in Dressrosa was save Luffy and Law from Sugar. And he saved them because he was all the way in the backlines. All the way in the backlines, managing to save them. And he was happy to not take credit for that shit. That's why in Onigashima, his biggest moments are the ones where he is helping people from the backlines. Which is why in Onigashima, his biggest moment was fucking yelling at the samurai and saving them and saying, nah, this idea you have of just dying is stupid. I'm not letting you do that. That is not what we do around here, right? That was the whole point. That was that was basically Usopp scolding them for having this, oh, death is better. Death is better than like defeat or something or whatever it was. And Usopp was like, the fuck are you talking about? We will, like, I'm saving you now. It's always what he's been. It's always what he's been. So now he's getting this speech regarding like, you guys are fucking cowards. You are cowards. And you know why Usopp can say this? Because Usopp is not a physically strong character. Usopp is not a character that can jump into a battle the way Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji can do. And yet he still does what he can do. He still will try to fight when he can with a sense of like honor, right? He still tries to do that. So when we have these characters, or a character like this saying to Imu, you fucking coward. Like, right? He's calling them a coward. Usopp the coward is calling them a coward. And he's doing that because he's saying you're fucking shameless. Usopp, if Usopp can like jump and fight for himself or when he can and do what he can, and he's seeing characters like Imu controlling people, manipulating people, not even being there, just using people like that, then of course Usopp has all means to say this shit, right? Of course Usopp is the one that has the most impact when he's saying all of this. all of it. Because this would radiate a lot more with Usopp, because he respects Elbaf and he's still someone who wants to be an honorable warrior, right? And he's still someone that wants to be able to help people when he can. And Imu is just an absolute manipulative, controlling bastard. Just doesn't give a shit about any of that. But it's such a good speech that he has here. A real warrior doesn't run away. Also, an Imu Luffy fight. This is not an Imu Luffy fight. Guys, that's not Imu. That is Imu controlling someone. So here's what I wanted to get at. We have Frankie saying, I think we got too strong. Luffy's an emperor. And Sanji says, I'd like to believe that, but it's sickening to think that Elbaf has brought it to its knees by this scum. So Frankie's saying we've gotten too strong, and Sanji's saying, I'd like to believe that. This is the elders all over again. We are getting an introduction of the Holy Knights here. This is not the Holy Knights, right? This is a taste of it. Currently, they're doing pretty well. However, what's going to happen in the future, right? These are not the only Holy Knights to exist. These are only 3 Holy Knights. And these 3 Holy Knights have brought all of Elbaf to their knees. And that's why Sanji's saying it's just sickening. Elbaf was brought to the knees by this scum. This is not the end all be all for this. This is not a fight that they've overall won. They will win probably the battle here. They're not going to win the war, or they haven't won the war, because this is not, these are not all the Holy Knights. This is not Imu. This is Imu controlling Gunko or Princess Shuri. That's not Imu. We haven't actually seen Imu physically do anything. Imu has even said, right? No, like, rulers don't do anything on the front line. Imu can clearly do a whole lot more than this, but at this point in time, they're not going to, and they're not going to because we're getting an introduction of them. Do remember what Imu did to Rocks. Imu wasn't even there. We haven't even seen Imu physically be there to do this kind of shit yet. This is the start, right? So with Luffy fighting Imu within Gunko, just remember that's not Imu. That's Imu controlling someone. It's not actually Imu. So we're getting the start of this. So we're seeing something bite-sized. This is like if when Luffy fought Bellamy in Dressrosa, we went, oh, Luffy's fighting Doffy. But it wasn't Luffy fighting Doffy, was it? That was Luffy fighting Bellamy. Luffy's not fighting Imu right now. This is Luffy fighting someone who is possessed by Imu. Very different. Again, it's a taste. It's a taste. This is bite-sized. We don't know everything Imu can do. Do not forget that. All of like what Imu can do has not been released yet. Right? So we don't know yet. It's just, look, it's just because it's not Luffy versus Imu. Like, it's not Imu. And I'm not calling it that because it's not. It is Imu possession. The Domi-Reversi will be interesting in regards to what's going on there. But I have a sneaking suspicion that Imu's power possibly does weaken the more Imu has to spread it out. But they're little devils and they're little demons. But I'm sure we'll get an explanation for that. Well, look, Gaban did tell us it's more than just Conqueror's Haki. However, what we do know is they're not permanently taken out. Even Sanji said that. What did he say? Supposedly, there's a way to finish them off. So they're not taken out. They're currently, what's the word? Tied up, basically. Not a critic. I don't care. I don't care because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. When did they one-shot them? Well, gee, I don't know. The Holy Knights don't have the Elders alongside them, do they, currently? Not in any way. But again, we don't know what the Holy Knights can fucking do. At all. The Holy Knights have brought a whole fucking nation of giants to their knees. Right? Again, in terms of how this system works in One Piece, it's Imu and the Elders. So Imu at the top, the Elders second, the Holy Knights third. The Admirals obey the Holy Knights because they are part of the Celestials. They are stronger. They get upgraded at that point. Because here's the thing. They're fucking immortal. They're immortal. It just doesn't make any sense to think in any fucking way that the Admirals have any kind of one-up on the Holy Knights. That's not me power scaling. Narratively, it doesn't make fucking sense. It's a narrative thing. I don't care about your stupid fucking numbers. I don't give a shit about your numbers. They don't make sense. Narratively speaking, the Holy Knights are up there because they're the Holy Knights. They have been part of this literal covenant to become immortal. They are terrifying. Terrifying. They're supposed to be. They have, for fuck's sake, one of these guys is a head. He's just a head. And he's still talking and he's still kicking. He's still talking and kicking. If you can regen easily, you don't put in the work to become a powerful fighter. They have become Holy Knights because of what they can do. We saw that through Harold. We saw that through Shanks. Imu does not just give out the fucking covenant. You still have to be incredibly capable. Otherwise, why wouldn't everyone just be given this shit? You seriously think Imu is throwing immortality out fucking willy-nilly? You think that's what they're doing? It clearly is a strain on them to have to do that. This isn't rage bait. I know it's not rage bait because I know this fucker. Stop calling it rage bait. It's not rage bait when people genuinely believe this shit. People will genuinely believe something and go, it's rage bait. No, I think you believe that. And I'm putting it to rest now. It's not rage bait because the amount of fucking people that are still telling me the Admirals are over the Holy Knights, that's not rage bait. There are tons of people that still believe that. It doesn't make sense narratively. It doesn't make any sense narratively. That's like putting the Admirals over the Elders. But how does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. Because again, why would the Admirals not just be upgraded to be part of this shit? Right? If they were that fucking powerful, why would Imu not want them as part of the Covenant? They can fucking control them. It's literally the in-world power system. I am talking about the in-world power. Not royal-blooded. Harold was not a fucking Celestial. He wasn't a Celestial and he got picked because it was beneficial. He was a king. He wasn't a Celestial. Very different. He was a giant. Also, you think Imu respected a king? Like of a giant king? You think Imu respected that? If you are beneficial to Imu, they are going to use you. Duh. It's about the power system. Like, because here's the thing. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if it's like, oh, but we haven't seen the Straw Hats blah, blah, blah against the Admirals. I don't care. That's not what we're talking about. Right? We are talking about the system within the world. The Holy Knights are a threat. We've only seen 3 of them. 3 of them. There's more than that, by the way. They clearly are very fucking high threat. An incredibly high threat. We still don't know everything they can do. We've only met 3. One of them who is being controlled by Imu, mind you. And who was clearly a slave to Imu. So, like, what do we see how it's just a stupid argument to me? Because it's like, it's the power system. This is the power system. This is not scaling. No narrative, that does not make sense, not a critic, because it's not them being overhyped by the world. It's Imu picking out their fucking soldiers. Why would Imu pick out bums? Why would Imu pick out people who are incompetent? It has nothing to do with being overhyped by the world. I'm pretty sure a lot of the world don't even fucking know they exist. It's about Imu picking out the Knights of God. Of course they were already powerful beforehand. Of course they're being given fucking higher ups. But this is like saying, would it kind of even be fucking anything if he didn't have a devil fruit? Would Kizuru be anything if he didn't have a devil fruit? Do we understand why this argument is so nonsensical? Because you guys are saying, oh, but it's because of the old mentality. Oh, it's because of the blah. Okay, take away Akainu's devil fruit. What's he now? What, fucking nothing? That's what you're doing to the Holy Knights. Take away the Holy Knights' immortality. Take away their fruits. You can say that about fucking anybody and they become useless. Like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Like, oh my god, someone's been given a power that makes them more powerful. Yeah, that tends to be a lot of what's going on in One Piece. Crazy, right? Isn't that just crazy? That's kind of one of the points of One Piece. That it's not fair, is it? It's not fair that this shit happens to people. Kuma even has that speech to Saturn about, were you born important? Doesn't seem fair. Were you given immortal powers? That doesn't seem fair. It's not meant to be fair. It's not fucking meant to be fair. It's a fucking power system. Of course it's unfair. I do think Doffy could have become a Holy Knight, yeah. That's true. Look, the reason I have a whole issue with this, the reason I just don't give a fuck about what do the Admirals spin to this is because it's been made clear to me a long time ago the Admirals kind of weren't anywhere of matter, right? Like they still matter to the story, but in regards to the fucking big shots right now, they've been out for a while, right? Kizuru was there to be a dog to the elders. That's what he was there for. The Holy Knights are just kind of like supreme dogs, right? We are watching the Marines collapse within themselves. We are watching the Marines beginning to suffer. They are unstable because they're realizing, fuck, who we're following is pretty bad, right? And now we get to the Holy Knights and they're like the loyalist of loyal dogs to Imu and co. They know Imu exists, mind you, right? The Marines are the pups, the Holy Knights are the dogs. That's why this whole conversation, who's stronger, who's stronger? System-wise, it's the Holy Knights. The Holy Knights have to be, or it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Right? Truly. Like, what is it kind of gonna do? Throw a punch at Sommers, maybe take him out for a second, and then he's back. That's unfair. Yeah, it's supposed to be unfair. That's the whole fucking point. It's all unfair because they are higher ups who've been given this crazy power. And guess what? They are actually good at using it. They have to be. They've been picked by Imu to be. Otherwise, they're useless. The Marines are cannibalizing themselves. Exactly. All I know is between an Admiral and between a Holy Knight, I'm a whole lot more fucking scared of a Holy Knight. A whole lot more scared of a Holy Knight. The Admirals have not been scary for a long time. And do you want to know why they haven't been scary for a long time? Because Luffy proved it to us in Egghead. Luffy pulled that fucking bitch back and turned him into a pizza. A pizza! I don't give a fuck about the Admirals. They have not been scary for a very long time. The Holy Knights are just starting. They're just beginning. We're even getting Sanji saying, somehow I don't think this is it. Right? Somehow I don't think this is the end of it. Somehow I don't think we have just become this strong. There's clearly more here. There's clearly a lot more here. Admirals haven't been shit since Kuzan left. Exactly! Kuzan left and the cannibalization begun. Right? Kuzan left, it begun. They began to be unstable because they started infighting. I do wonder what's happened to Fujitora. Honestly, he's the best. He's the best. Yeah, but the reason the Holy Knights are a fucking well-oiled machine is because they are not unstable. And the reason they're not unstable is because they truly believe they are the higher-ups. They truly believe they are the gods here, right? They are not an unstable organization. They're incredibly powerful and they're incredibly efficient in what they do, right? Like, for fuck's sake, Sommers knew that the kids were going to die and he didn't care. He didn't care at all. He was like, we can just get more. You're seriously going to be more scared of the admirals over this fucking freak who was forcing giant children off the edge of a cliff and going, ha, I can just get more. Who cares if any of these kids die? Are we serious here? And that brings me to my next point. The reason Imu's powers are so fucking scary, is because of what we're seeing in this chapter. The turning of peoples against each other. The fear of having to face someone that you care about. And the inability to do that. Imu's powers are mentally torturous. So unbelievably torturous. Imu's powers are a mental game as much as they're a physical game. It is just unbelievably disgusting. I keep saying that Imu is like a bigger Doffy, a huger Doffy, because that's what Doffy did. Doffy loved forcing people against each other, but the difference is when Doffy did it, he couldn't control what they said, right? He couldn't control what they said. He couldn't control the emotions they emitted. These people are totally possessed, completely possessed. You don't see any ounce of who they used to be in their possession, right? That is horrifying. So you don't even get any of what they really think, what they really feel. You were just fighting a shell of someone you used to know. Somebody that you used to know, and that's horrifying. That's fucking horrifying. That's a terrible thing that you'd have to face. You're facing a monster with the face of your friend, or the face of your loved one, the face of your wife, or the face of your husband, or the face of your siblings, you know what I mean? The face of just anyone that you love. That's terrifying. I love Imu's powers for this. I love it because it's such a stealing of self, a stealing of will. It's horrible, but that's why I love what we got at the beginning of the chapter. Enjoy the feeling of liberation unchained by any concepts of evil. Unchained by any concepts of evil. They are literally devils saying this. Concept of evil. And this is why when it comes to Imu and Imu being the higher power, the concept of good and bad and the concept of evil, right? This is why Luffy and Imu are such good mirrors in a way to each other, or like foils to each other. Because Luffy is similar in the sense of the concept of good and evil, right? Luffy doesn't drastically push that. Luffy wants people to believe, if you believe me to be good, then I suppose I'm good. But Luffy doesn't push that type of like label, right? He's never been about that. And then Imu seems to be doing the same, except on the other end, and saying, I can do these dastardly things because evil's not a concept that really exists, right? Be liberated. Don't think about the concept of evil here. There is no concept of evil. Be unchained by the concepts of evil. It's subjective, right? This is the speech of someone who is just an absolute fucking piece of shit. Don't think about it, right? Exactly. Imu is on the opposite end of Luffy. Luffy is someone who doesn't really believe in that label specifically. Luffy wants people to decide that for themselves, but because of that, Luffy will do what he feels is right. Imu's the opposite. Imu does what they feel is right, but it's dastardly shit. It is dastardly shit. Which is why when they said that, oh my god. I said it on Fishman Island, exactly. On Fishman Island, all the fishermen were like, are they good? Are they bad? And Luffy said, you decide that for yourselves. That's up to you. Luffy wasn't saying anything about, you know, we're here to save you, we're here to protect you. It was, that's up to you. You can decide that. And again, there is a form of liberation in that. There is a form in Luffy not declaring himself any kind of hero. Luffy not even wanting to be a hero. But Imu, on the other hand, declaring themselves a god and then saying the concept of evil is insane. Utopian ideas. Yep, ideals on the world. God, the false god, the false prophet shit is just incredible. I love how ham Oda's going with it. Do you have any idea what kind of hell awaits commoners who dare to defy God? Because that's what I mean. This is why when people keep calling Luffy Nika, when people keep calling Luffy a god, Luffy has not forced that upon anybody. Luffy has not deemed that to be so in any way. Luffy will say, I'm just Luffy. Imu, on the other hand, I'm a god. I rule this world. You're all commoners beneath me, but me, I'm the ruler. Again, they're foiling each other, right? Luffy denies it. Luffy's the opposite of a false prophet. Exactly. Luffy does not declare himself to be any type of god. He even denies it. Imu, on the other hand, is using it for their own power and for their own gain, and creates these followers such as Killing Him, who also believes themselves to be a god, because Imu's created this whole disgusting system to make people obedient to them. Don't call me a god, I'm just me, right? Exactly. Imu is an example of a false god and a false prophet. Luffy, on the other hand, is an example of a true god and a true prophet, because Luffy forces miracles. Luffy is not actually a god, but Luffy is being given faith. He's being given hope. He's being prayed to. He's being, in a sense, worshipped. Well, there it is. I think Luffy can't know he's Nika until the end of the series. If he does, he'll lose his freedom. But I don't think Luffy will ever be Nika, is the thing. Like, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think Luffy is a god. I don't think Nika was exactly a god either. Arta has a theory that I adore, and a lot of people have this too. The theory is that Nika didn't even exist. Nika was a fictional character that people were, in the first world, were wishing was real, were wishing that came to life, right? Because this fictional character gave people hope. And we know that devil fruits came about through people's wishes thanks to Stella. And then from there, we get a devil fruit that perfectly embodies Nika if you have the ability to awaken it, if you have the will to awaken it. Don't know if that's true, but I do not believe Nika was ever truly a god. I think Nika was a concept, or Nika was maybe just a guy that existed. And then that went on to Joy Boy. Joy Boy was not a god by any means. Joy Boy was probably also just a guy that existed, had this fruit, and managed to unlock that power of Nika. Luffy's now continuing the cycle. Luffy's not a god, right? He is just someone with an unbelievably powerful will who just wants to make things happen. And that earns him faith. That earns him hope, and that earns him prayers, right? That earns him people believing in him. In the same way Kuma was doing that too. Kuma was someone rejecting false prophets, never called himself a prophet, never called himself a saint, right? In fact, when he was called a saint by Vegapunk, he was like, oh, you know, brushing it off. And then we go in that same page to Saint Saturn. It's so clear to me what's going on. We've got the false gods and the false prophets, right? Who are trying to dominate the world and trying to own the world. And then we've got the true, actual prophets. We've got the true, like, people in this world trying to make a change, trying to save people. They will reject any form of gods and saints and prophets and all that kind of shit, because that's not how they see it. That's not what they see they are doing. They are just trying to help people, or they're just trying to do what they can do, right? That's what the whole point of Kuma in Egghead was about. That's why we have Kuma facing off against Saint Saturn, and Kuma talking to Saint Saturn like, fuck you, you're nothing to me, right? Just because you're born who you are, that doesn't mean you are anything. Not to me, not to anyone. And then Kuma was saying, I want to be like Nika, and I want to save as many people as I possibly can in my life, right? And in that moment, as I said in my Kuma video, Kuma became a saint. He became a legitimate saint. Not this false saint that Saint Saturn is. It was just a perfect moment in regards to like what's going on in this series. And now we're getting it again with Luffy and Imu. And it's making me crazy because I just love this concept. I love this concept. I love this theme that Oda's got going on of you have to earn this, right? You have to earn it. You have to act. You cannot win by making people forcefully bow to you in your power. That does not make you any kind of god. You will not receive faith. You will not receive belief by doing that. You will just receive fear. They will fear you not because they respect you, but because you are just dominating them and you have the ability to just kill them. Luffy, on the other hand, he's very powerful, but he receives this faith because he's just a fucking chill guy. He truly brings people together, and that's Imu's greatest weakness. Imu is not able to bring people together at all. It's not something they can do, and they've clearly failed at it, and they don't see the benefit in it. So instead they create power structures, which is what they've been doing. And I can't wait to see what the second world is. And like the second world in terms of Joy Boy, because that's probably what Joy Boy could do too. Right? Anyway, sorry. Luffy is not Joy Boy is not Nika. But they all the spirit of liberation, it's inherited will, not reincarnation. Exactly. That's what I've been saying. I've been saying the exact same thing. This is Nika to Joy Boy to Luffy embodies One Piece's biggest message, which is inheriting will. And something I really love about Roger is if Roger were, around the same circumstances as Luffy, if Roger had gotten the fruit that Luffy got, he'd probably be Joy Boy as well, or he'd probably be Nika as well. There have been multiple people throughout One Piece's history that have had a crazy willpower, that have had a crazy ambition. I am of the full belief that anyone can be Joy Boy. They just need that ambition. This is not a Luffy singular thing. At the same time, because Luffy's Luffy, and because Luffy has that ambition, and because Luffy has that will, he's managed to unlock this power, right? Like, this isn't Luffy just stumbled upon that power. He wasn't just handed that power. He needed that will. Why do you think it's like when Shanks heard Luffy's dream, and it was Roger's dream, he started to cry? Luffy is embodying Roger. By all means, Roger could have been the Joy Boy of his day. Roger could have been the Nika of his day. He just didn't have the fruit to be able to unlock that. And there's a point to that. It's not just that, like, Luffy has been handed the Deus Ex Machina of fucking fruits. It's that he has the ambition and the will that has been carried over and carried on from other people within history. Right? It's been there all along. There will always be people like Luffy. There will always be people like Roger. There will always be people like Joy Boy, and there will always be people like Nika. So long as you are living in oppressive times, you will always have someone who will stand up and demand for better, demand for more, right? Demand to escape these oppressive times. There will always be someone like that. Luffy's not like The only one that does that. That's why when Luffy meets so many different people throughout his journeys, one of the best ones. Sorry, do Ex Machina, not Deuce. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, Stewie Griffin. I am so sorry. That was so stupid of me. Anyway, but it's like when he meets other people throughout times. This is why when Bonnie unlocks Gear 5, I was sure of it. I was sure that when Bonnie unlocked Gear 5, I was like, yep. I am so certain that Oda is telling us this can be anyone. Anyone can achieve this liberation. Right? Anyone can have the ability to unlock this ambition. You just need that push. You need that willpower to want to change things, to want to fight for your freedom. It's not Luffy exclusive. That's why, again, Luffy is so special, because Luffy goes from place to place and he doesn't just liberate them. He invokes a sense of willpower into the people he talks to. That's why the scene with Kobe at the very beginning of the series, the very, very, very beginning of the series, Luffy lets Kobe stand up to Alvida himself, right? It wasn't Luffy taking out Alvida for Kobe. He waited for Kobe to actually stand up to her and say his piece to her and finally get that ambition to want to do something about his situation, right? That's why that scene is there. That's why Kobe is an important character there. We are seeing the way Luffy works. That's why Luffy says to Kobe, man, I hate you. Which is like what made me love him, by the way. Because he hates Kobe. Because Kobe is just kind of accepting of his situation. And nothing pisses Luffy off more than someone who has essentially given up. Not because he hates that you gave up, but he hates seeing people so just passive like that. He wants better for you, right? He doesn't hate you specifically, but he just wants you to want better too. And I understand him. Like, couldn't we understand him in that aspect? If you see someone that you know, like your friends or someone, let's say there's someone in a really shitty relationship, and the relationship isn't exactly like abusive, it's just a bad relationship. Your friend is not treated right in that relationship, and your friend is not like really doing anything. They've kind of just accepted that. You're not angry at the fact that they're them. You're angry at the fact that you want better for them, and you're like wanting them to be able to see that. You know what I mean? That's what Luffy is like. Luffy wants people to want better. He wants people to see they can have better. They just need to stand up for it. Right? And anyone can do that. Anyone is like that. It's so important that Luffy doesn't just save people. He inflicts this willpower into people. And it is so powerful. All of Dressrosa, the reason Dressrosa gives me goosebumps is because it wasn't just Luffy saving Dressrosa. Yeah! Right? Thank you. It wasn't just Luffy saving Dressrosa. It was all of Dressrosa standing up and saying, fuck this guy. Doffy's a piece of shit. Stand against him. Talk against him. We have to stand up and we have to say what's going on. All of Dressrosa went against the birdcage and started to push. And they pushed and pushed and pushed because they didn't accept it. Because of Luffy, they didn't accept it. Luffy is making sure they stand back up, which again is why when we get to Onigashima and we get to Usopp talking to the samurai saying, don't you dare fucking die, that's part of all of this too. Sorry, the Usopp sneak. I didn't mean to put the Usopp sneak in there, but that's part of what the Straw Hats are. Usopp is doing the same thing for the samurai that Luffy does for nations. Which is why, again, it's so frustrating that people don't understand that scene with Usopp in Onigashima is a big scene. It's a big scene. What he's saying to them is huge. The belief of wanting them to survive is huge. Stand up. Keep fighting. You cannot sit down. If you sit down, then you're going to die kneeling. You should want to die standing. You should want to die until you can't take your until your final breath, until you're clawing for it, right? That's the whole point. That's ambition. That's willpower. That's the whole thing. And that's why when it comes to Water 7 and it comes to Robin, Luffy was begging Robin, say you want to live. He can't help her until she accepts herself. Because otherwise, what? Otherwise, it's Luffy making the decision for Robin, right? Doesn't work like that. He doesn't want that to happen. He wants Robin to make that decision for herself. He wants her to have the ability to say, I want to live, right? He doesn't want Robin, basically, he doesn't want to force her back, essentially, and then make her feel continuously shitty. He wants to make sure she knows she has that choice. Hence, Robin, I'm not going to go after you unless you say you want to live. And then, of course, she says it, and that's when Luffy goes, all right, we're all in. He's giving people agency, and he'll make sure to always give people agency. Same thing with Nami and Arlong Park, right? He was waiting for Nami to ask for the help. He wasn't just going to do it because Nami needs to say it. Otherwise, what does it look like? It looks like he's pitying her. Or perhaps maybe he's trying to gain something from her, which is something she's suffered all her life. So he needed her to say, Luffy, help me, before he could do anything. Same with Sanji and Whole Cake Island. Luffy thought he was pretty set on going to Whole Cake Island. And he was like, yeah, I'll just see what's going on. Then he found out Sanji was just lying. And he found out something more was going on. So what does he do? He sits his ass down. And he waits. And he says, I'm staying here. And I'm gonna make you come back to me because I know that's what you want. Right? But I have to stay here for that to happen, for you to be honest with yourself. And then finally Sanji comes on back. Luffy punches him and says, tell me how you really feel. And finally Sanji can cough it up. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to be on the sunny. He misses everyone. He's too scared to run away, etc., etc. And of course, he essentially says, I need help. And Luffy says, well, you got us. That's why Luffy is such a good fucking character. It's why he's so good. He's not just like a hero, because he's not just a hero. He will wait for the help to be needed. I just love him for that. I love him for that so dearly. I just love him. I fucking love him. And that's why Luffy gains all this faith. It's why Luffy gains so much faith. It's why Luffy gains so much belief. Again, there's, to me, a clear understanding here in One Piece that the biggest fear that Imu has is community. Community is scary to Imu. Incredibly scary to Imu, right? So there is such... it's just obvious to me that Imu is scared of Joy Boy and scared of Nika because what Nika does is bring people together. Imu can't contend with that. Imu does not authentically bring people together. Imu does not inspire at all. People knowing and uniting. Exactly. So that's why when Imu clearly has this weird vendetta against Lily, right? And you look at Vivi and you see what Vivi can do. What have I always said about Vivi? One of Vivi's most powerful things is she brings people together. People listen to Vivi. She's very, very, very good at bringing people together. Which is why the thing with Imu, I don't think Imu has any kind of weird love thing with Vivi or with Lily. I think Imu is scared of Lily because I think Lily is someone that turned against Imu long ago. And because of that, Lily then sided with Joy Boy, which seems to be what happened in the mural. And Lily helped communities come together against Imu. And now Vivi will probably do the same. Vivi is very, 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 very good at communication, at community. People just authentically like Vivi because she clearly wants what's best for people in the same way Luffy does. They're just on different sides with the... not different sides, they're just different people, right? That's why Vivi's so powerful. And Alabasta, that's why Crocodile wanted to silence her specifically. Because he knew that Vivi would ruin his plans. Different methods, exactly. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Vivi, but I know she's going to be a powerful character in regards to what she can do. Again, not physically, but in terms of the way she brings together community. That's a very powerful thing in One Piece. Well, Imu probably seeks Vivi because Vivi's a threat. Like, it's probably because she's a threat. Again, imagine you had the original world government that you created. Lily D. Nefertari was part of it, right? Now imagine back then she went against you, which is probably what happened. She went against you. She took her sword away from the throne, and then she sided with Joy Boy, and that was probably Imu's biggest fight they've ever had. Now imagine seeing their ancestor, looks like Lily, talks like Lily, has befriended the Straw Hats with Luffy, who looks like Joy Boy and who looks like Nika. Would that not make you fucking shake in your little golden boots? Would that not make you scared? To a point of like history repeating itself? Imu clearly understands that history repeats itself. And I think Imu's been taking measures to stop it from repeating itself, and it's not working. Because no matter what, Imu cannot snuff out this feeling of hope. Imu cannot snuff out the belief of liberation. They just can't do it. But again, a lot of this is theories, but I think Lily betraying Imu, that's pretty much canon at this point, is it not? As in, like, Lily was part of the council and she left. Clearly, a betrayal happened there. Because the fact that they stopped listening to Imu means they betrayed Imu. Or to Imu, they would have betrayed Imu. From what I know, anyway. There's clearly something that happened there. I think the Lily, at this point, I'm happy to say the Lily betrayal is technically canon, but we're just gonna have to wait. But again, it's clear that she fought against Imu with Joy Boy from that mural. But hey, who knows? Maybe that's a recounting of history that might be false in a way. So we'll find out. I think there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. I mentioned the thing with Sanji and Frankie. I just love what Sanji says of, I'd like to believe that. With the, we got too strong, I'd like to believe that. And Killingham saying, that's right, maggots keep overlooking us. Hang on, is that also not Oda speaking directly to the camera? Speaking of, the Holy Knights aren't that strong. Is that not him fucking talking directly to the camera? Alright, yeah, keep overlooking them. Like, there's clearly more here. Clearly more is going to happen with the Holy Knights. This is not the end of them. They haven't won the war yet. Oops. Well, again, the other thing is we don't know everything about how Imu's powers work. Right? So what Imu has done to the giants, like Dorian Broggy and everything, is clearly not the same as the shit that he did to Harold. And it's not the same as the shit that he did to Rocks. Harold especially was specific because Harold had the Mark of the Covenant. Whatever happened to Rocks was something unbelievably devious. But there's different points to the power, at least. Well, Rocks didn't get flipped like Dorian Broggy did. Again, we don't know everything about Imu. And we don't know what they can do. I don't remember Rocks getting flipped. But we did see at the end of Rox being no longer possessed, he then got stabbed by, it was Garling, wasn't it? Garling stabbed him. So he managed to get freed, but he was still killed. Oh, he did get flipped? Oh, wait. No, I've talked about this. Yes. Sorry. The reason I liked Rox is because Rox is a showing of what Imu does is clearly a doubling of the power that someone already has. Right? No, I've talked about this. The reason Rox was different is because Rox was already fucking insane. Like, Rox is no Dorian Broggy. Because the issue that I have with a lot of people with the Imu thing is like, oh, Imu can just give anyone this power. And it's like, yes, but it clearly amplifies what someone can already do. And Rox was already fucking ridiculous. So it just doubled him to such an insane extent that Roger and Garp had to fight him together. Imu did choose Shanks, not a critic. Imu did choose Shanks. Hello? What are you talking about? Like, Imu actively chose Shanks. After Shanks proved himself, by the way. Shanks had to prove himself to be chosen. You have to prove yourself to be chosen, which is why your argument doesn't make sense. You have to do trials, right? It's not just loyalty. You know why it's not just loyalty? Because Imu can override that. Imu literally has a fucking slave of a person. It's physical trials as much. So yes, Imu's also picking off strength. Again, wouldn't make sense if they weren't. I was gonna say, Imu doesn't care about loyalty. Imu's got full control. No, they don't, not a critic. No, they don't. Princess Shooty is right there. Princess Shooty is upending all your arguments. Shanks is upending all your arguments. But they're holy knights. What are you talking about? It's pretty clear Shooty is not aware of what's going on. They're fighting back and they're holy knights. What are you talking about? You're saying they clearly have to want to be holy knights. No, they don't. Not at all. Imu currently has full control over Princess Shooty. There was that bit there was that blip. But Imu's pretty happy having this control over them. You don't at all have to be loyal to Imu. Imu forces that. They literally puppeteer you. And it's scary to think that if Shanks were to get that final mark, probably would have been fully controlled in the way Princess Shooty was. Right? Your argument does not make sense. It has nothing to do with loyalty. It has to do with proving yourself. It's evil Adoffy, exactly. I was gonna say. Oops, thanks for that. Why choose Shanks and not go after Roger? Probably because he didn't see Roger as that much of like a big thing back in the day. Remember, Roger's legacy was when he died. Roger was currently like just around, you know what I mean? Roger was powerful, but Roger and Garp together had to take out Rox. Why the fuck would Imu lay waste to Roger? Well, then Imu couldn't get his hands on Roger, could he? then I also don't know what you're saying. Then they couldn't get to Roger. He couldn't mark him in time. But I assume if they could have gotten to Roger, then yes, they could have marked them. But do you think that doesn't mean Roger has to be willing to want to get that mark in any way? Couldn't get Harold by force either. I think what you're confusing is willing to get the mark and grabbing someone to be able to give them the mark. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure if they got their hands on Roger, they could have given him that mark, whether Roger were willing or not. But they couldn't grab him. But also, at the same time, Roger was done for. Like, Roger was old and dying. And his biggest thing was by the end of his life. Once he died, that caused the problem. But you 100% do not need to be willing to get the mark. Once again, Princess Shuri is an example of that. She's clearly a slave. She's clearly been brainwashed. Yeah, Roger beat the Holy Knights at sea. Look, I'm not saying Roger wouldn't be beneficial for Imu to have. But I'm saying that, okay, well, Imu couldn't get their hands on Roger. You still need to clearly be there to have that happen to you. But it's not willfully, that's for sure. Some for willfully, yes, but Imu does not need that loyalty to do that to you. Especially when we see someone like Harold fighting back and Imu didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck. They were like, well, I'm just going to use you anyway. But Harold fighting back is proof they don't have to be that loyal. Imu will just overtake your mind. Again, the loyalty argument does not make sense. Imu clearly can overrun that. As he's overrun before, he did it with rocks in a fucking second. Because he got his hands on rocks. And at that time, rocks was probably the biggest threat. The only reason Harold was stopped was because of Loki. He gave a fuck because he was like, Harold, you gave me your word. And then Harold said no. And then Imu said, all right, I'll just take over your mind. Again, that loyalty does not matter. It doesn't matter. This is a guy that brainwashes you. He brainwashes you. But again, if Shuri accepted it, she's now being brainwashed. She now clearly does not want to be doing this. And the reason we know that is because she tried to free Brooke. And guess what? Snap, right back. There's clearly nothing here in regards to loyalty. I'm sure it's an additional thing, right? I'm sure there's an addition to it, but that can be overrun, is what I'm trying to say, which is why I'm saying your argument, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that they're picking on loyalty. Picking on loyalty is probably the last thing Imu really cares about, because Imu can just overrun you. And again, Harold and Shuri are an example of that. He was overrunning them. Imu would have succeeded with Harold had Harold not been able to get to Loki. He's succeeding with Princess Shuri. I really don't think Imu gives a fuck about that type of loyalty. Because guess what? You're mine now. So what? If you're not loyal, they'll make you loyal. Like, it's a brainwashing ability. I've kind of lost like the point of the original question. But no, you do not need to be willing to have to do that. If it causes problems, not a critic, why wouldn't they just get rid of Princess Shuri? Why do they still use Princess Shuri quickly? It's clearly not that much of a problem. It's clearly not the biggest problem that they face. It's clearly a blip. I'll bring them right back. The biggest issue was Harold being killed. He got killed by Loki, but he was going to succeed either way. If it's that much of a problem, why would Imu even risk having Princess Shuri? We don't know anything about Princess Shuri. They are clearly brainwashed, mates. Like, they have clearly been brainwashed. They clearly don't know where or who they are. They are clearly trying to fight against Imu, and it worked for a second, right? They are clearly brainwashed. But that's what I'm saying, though. You're saying, oh, they clearly rely on loyalty. We are watching a character go against them and be a slave to Imu. And Imu is keeping them. So it's not that much of an issue. Again, the loyalty just doesn't matter to the extent that I think you think it matters at all. When you have a brainwashing power, it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter. He's a guy that can force you to do what you don't want to do. Rox, for example. Why the fuck would that loyalty matter? He turned Rox into something he'd never thought he'd become. And he didn't care about Imu at all. And Rox couldn't break that. So why would that matter? It just doesn't matter at all. But I think you do think it matters. You just said before, like, oh, Imu's picking off loyalty is what you said. I'm saying I don't think they are. I think picking off loyalty when you have a brainwashing power is stupid, is what I'm saying. I think, therefore I am. This argument all comes back to, oh, the Holy Knights get what they get because they're Nepo babies. They are clearly also quite powerful, right? They are clearly also quite good at what they do. Once again, they're being handed things. But because they're in the position that they're in, they can get good at those things, right? It's like people with a higher education, with a more expensive education. They may be smarter at things. They may be better at a lot of things, right? But it's because they were being given the one-up to be able to do those things. Just because someone has a more expensive education, it doesn't make them stupider. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they're a Nepo. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? The idea that the Holy Knights aren't that powerful just because they're Nepo babies, I think is a stupid idea to have. Because there are plenty of people who are Nepo babies, who are that intelligent, who are that good at something, but it's because they have the money to be able to invest in that, right? There are stupid Nepo babies. Oh my God, I'm not fucking siding with Nepo babies. I'm saying money gives you that one up in terms of education, in terms of ability, in terms of wasting time in regards to being able to get better at these things, right? That's the whole point. Like, I just think because they're Nepo babies, they just get given these things. They do just get given these things. But there's also a discussion to be had there about, well, because they do get given these things, they can also be better at things due to be given the resources to be better at those things. It's like so many fucking art people, like artsy-fartsy people who are like filmmakers and song makers and stuff. They're Nepo babies. And it's not fair. And it's not fair because they never had to worry about anything else. They could craft their creativity all their life. They never had to worry about anything else. They became good at what they do creatively because they're from a very wealthy household. There was nothing else they ever needed to put their time into. And that's similar to the Holy Knights to me. They're fucking bored up there. They're probably going to get good at all the shit they're doing. I agree there's more tactics to Imu's choices than strength. But what I'm saying is strength would probably be one of the biggest things. He's creating Holy Knights. Of course they're going to be one of the biggest things that he accounts for. He's creating his own army, or Imu's creating their own army. They are going to account for strength. Exactly. Imu is desiring of power in all aspects. They are going to desire power. They are going to get people who are powerful. Putting a demon in them, right? Well, it's like Imu clearly wanted Loki's fruit, Needhog, because it's powerful. Imu very much seemed to desire it. And I say that because Loki appeared and then Imu said, oh, fuck, that's where Needhog was. I think of that a lot, by the way. What I just said before about Nepo babies and creatives. I am so fucking sick. And I'm so jealous of creatives, of directors, of songwriters, of singers who are rich and good at what they do. And I'm sick of it because it's unfair. It's unfair because I was not allowed that time, right, to nurture my creativity. I'm not able to sit down and write scripts and write books and write whatever I want because I need to have a job first and foremost. I say that, but my job is this, right? But like, if I ever wanted to write a book, if I ever wanted to write a screenplay, I have to stretch out my time to be able to do that. I have to stretch out my time and hone my craft when I can. Rich people, Nepo babies, they can just do that. They don't have to think about having to schedule in regards to their hobbies or their creativities. It is so fucking unfair. I just despise it because it's like the amount of talent that we'd have on this earth, the amount of people that would be fantastic songwriters, that would be fantastic artists, that would be fantastic directors, that would be fantastic writers, and they can't be that because they have to put their livelihood first. Sucks fucking ass. It sucks ass. I'm saying all this because I hate Nepo babies. I fucking hate them. I hate them because no one else gets a chance, you know? I just despise it. And I'm saying all this because fuck, I'm never defending Nepo babies. Because of what we talked about with the Holy Knights. Because, yep, they're unfair and they piss me off. They're unfair and they piss me off. And I think they're a good example of how this wealth gap is just, it feels so unfair. Just unfair. And I hate them. Lose your dream. Bring it back. Don't let them win. That's another thing about One Piece. Your dreams, right? Your dreams. A Nepo baby is a Nepo baby when you benefit. For example, if you're born rich and then you're kicked out, then you're not really a Nepo baby at that point. You don't get anything from that. Sanji, for example. Sanji's not a Nepo baby. You're a Nepo baby when you're a fucking celestial dragon. You're a Nepo baby when you reap the benefits. Sabo being a Nepo baby. He's not a Nepo baby. He doesn't reap any benefits from that. Okay, we're not talking about being born strong. We're talking about being born with money. Through Zeph. Yes, they take advantage of the position they are born into, 100%. 100%. They continue to hoard their wealth like their parents do. Sometimes they even make it worse. They do not better the world in any way. Once you hit to a point of like your own person and your own being, There's no excuse. Oh, I was just born into it. There's no excuse. You are now at a point where you can do something about it. You can make things better. You can use your Nepo babyism to better things, and you just won't. I truly believe every single every single rich person has a duty to better things, because you can do things 99% of the world cannot do, right? I can't help people the way a 1%er could. You have an obligation, in my opinion, as someone who is hoarding wealth, to help people, and they don't. And that's the evil of it. That's the evil of it. And that's why we have what we have today, or what's going on today, right? You can help. Why help when you can watch number grow big? But that's something that gets me. That's something that gets me an unbelievable amount when people go like, oh, well, you know, it's how they were raised, and they're like, you know, raised and born into it. And it's like, how do I say this? They're not stupid. They're not stupid. People who are hoarding wealth know they are hoarding wealth. They know that to get this wealth, they have to ruin lives. I don't like this weird what is it? Infantization or whatever it is of like rich people. Like, they know what they're doing. A lot of them are stupid, yes. Right? A lot of them are stupid, but they understand how they got where they were. They are ruining lives, and they know that. They were born into having that mindset. Exactly. It's just dumb. It's one of the reasons why I love Doflamingo so much, because he knows he's a monster. He knows he's evil. Doflamingo's whole mindset was like, his whole joke or his whole manipulation was like, I'm not the problem. You're the problem. That was Doflamingo's whole thing. Whole entire thing. Which is why one of my favorite scenes in all of Dressrosa is when Law is being held up by Doflamingo. And Doflamingo says, if you got that message to the Marines, you could have stopped the massacre, the tragedies that happened at Dressrosa. The tragedy. And Law said, oh, so you do see that as tragedy. You do see them as tragedies. And Doffy went, fuck. Because he just outed himself there. He just revealed he knows what he's doing. He revealed he knows he's being villainous. He knows he's being this monster. He knows it's him. And he can't blame that on someone else. That's his whole thing. So Law not accidentally, but Law got that out of him. And he won that mental fight there, because it's Law trying to be like, no, I'm not the issue. You're the issue. You know you're doing this. You know you're the monster that you pretend not to be. Right? It was such a good scene. I love that scene because it shows how intelligent Doflamingo is, how manipulative he is, which is why I personally cannot stand when people say, no, Doffy definitely loved his crew. He loved his family, even if it's like in a weird twisted way, even if it's in a way where it's like, you know, he didn't really feel it or something. It's like, no, he's smarter than that. He is smarter. He's intelligent. He knew how to use people. Right? He has tricked you. He's tricked you into thinking that. He's intelligent. He knew how to use people, and he believed he was above people. He's exactly. He is a puppeteer. He was beating their asses. He's a cultist. I love him. I love him. We really got off track here, but the reason I'm talking about all of this and fucking class struggles and social problems is because that's what One Piece does. That's what One Piece does. That's why every time people would talk about the Holy Knights and be like, it's unfair, it's like, yeah, yeah, it is unfair. It always has been unfair. The Holy Knights have always, like, the rich and the upper class, it's always been unfair. And I love what the Holy Knights are. On this manga bullshit. Hi, One Piece with a lime. Shit, how are you doing? Man. But also the comedy in between, again, the comedy, the way Oda layers his comedic in between the seriousness, because again, he does it on purpose. So many people say it's a tone issue. And I don't think it's a tone issue at all, because it's only a tone issue if you want it to continue to be serious, right? But he's actively talked about he doesn't want it to get too heavy. He'll have heavy themes and he'll have heavy ideas, but he doesn't want to get to a point where it's hard to read, right? Even when he got to Kuma and Kuma's whole story, that's probably some of the roughest shit that he's ever written. And even that would be riddled with gags here and there, would be riddled with some jokes here and there. Not because he's making fun of the topic, but because he still wants it to be read easier. He wants it to be consumed safer, right? He doesn't want this to be a manga where you have to look away. And he's always been like that. The Luffy Ragnar panel is so good. Well, again, something that really, God, this really, I'll never forget this answer that he had when he was talking about Skypiea, and he was talking about the tree disease or something in Skypiea, and someone asked him, is that real? And he said, well, that disease maybe could exist at some point in the world. And then he said, but I don't want to write real life diseases like that, because someone reading could be suffering from that, or they could have a family member that's suffering from that, and that is too much, right? That's too much to have to read if you're in a situation like that, because then it becomes way too real for you, right? And he doesn't want that to happen. He wants people to be able to interpret as they wish, and he doesn't want to throw like a cold splash right in someone's face if that's something that they go through. So he's not going to bring up, like, the only real disease that he brought up to my knowledge was scurvy. And then he also brought up fucking cells. What was it? Stem cells? And I went, huh? That's why that stem cell thing was so fucking weird to me. So many people didn't understand why I found that weird. And it's like, because he's using a real scientific term. Like, he's using an actual scientific, like medicine here, or like breakthrough here in the middle of like devil fruits and robots. And I went, what? Oh God. White lead not real is real adjacent. Exactly. So he takes inspirations from things, but he's not going to outright say that this is this real disease. If you feel it is a specific disease that exists, right? Then that's up to you. That's something that you can feel and you can decide on. But it's like Roger. What was Roger sick with? We don't know. We'll never know. Maybe it was cancer, right? Maybe he had a brain hemorrhage or something. Like, who knows? We don't know, but we're never going to know. And we're never going to know because all we need to know was he had a sickness. And that's what killed him. Stem cells. But I always think about that. I always think about his answer to that, because I thought that's a really emotionally mature answer to have. Instead of wanting to shock the audience with real life, I suppose, illnesses, and that can be a correlation with real life traumas, he wants to make sure we always have a gateway to the fiction, to the fictional. That's why when it came to Sanji, I know, Sanji text. That's why when it came to Sanji and his story with the abuse that he suffered, and it had like this Power Ranger thing on top of it, that's why I really respected that, because that story was really heavy. That was a really rough story. That's a really hard story to stomach for someone who was in Sanji's situation or is in Sanji's situation. But he makes sure to add enough of a fictional layer so that anyone who has suffered what Sanji has suffered can still enjoy the story in a hyper fictional way, can still see the sugarcoating on the top and just love the sugarcoating on the top, right? He still makes sure that One Piece is an escape. And again, I just really do appreciate that. I don't, like, he's a good writer. I don't side with him for everything by any means, but he's a good writer and he's very good when wanting to make people escape to a fictional world. Even though we are talking about the real things in the world because of One Piece. A spoonful of sugar, exactly. Exactly. Estrid got like a, sorry, not Estrid, Ida. Ida got hit with a mold. It was like a mold spore or something. They fed her mold or something. I forgot what it was, but it was something that just killed her instantly. The mold of instant death that grew inside of her. Anyway, I want to play Marvel Rivals, so I'll finish this up. The nefarious mold spore. I know, sometimes we go off track, but ramble, ramble, ramble. Listen, when you come in my streams, you don't just get One Piece. We talk about the world. But seeing Colin be excited for the giants that are fighting, because remember, Colin is also someone that is wanting to uphold the warrior culture of Elbaf. That's really sweet. That's incredibly sweet. He's excited to see it because this is something that he obviously holds as well, wanting to replicate. Dory and Broggy are just fucking fantastic. Also, hang on, so Broggy did lose his arm. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, wait, did he? Hang on, I'm trying to look at the shield. Oh, he did lose his hand. No, he lost his hand. Sorry, I was looking at the shield. He did, yep. Fucking Christ, he's baller, isn't he? And by that I mean he's got a bleeding fucking limb and he puts a shield on top of it. Oh god. Did Dory lose his arm? I thought he just got stabbed. No, he just got stabbed. I wouldn't say he lost his arm. No, he didn't lose his arm. He got shot off. What? Hang on, I'm double checking. No, he still has both arms. You are lying to me. I just checked. Yeah, you can see him holding a sword with two hands. Now, Dory is going, Dory's fine. He's just swinging his shit. I'm confusing Dory and Rocky. You know what? I think they'd be happy for that. Anyway, my favorite part, Usopp's speech aside, because obviously the Usopp speech is the fucking gem of this chapter. Favorite part, Zoro Red Ogre reference. I see you, Oda. I see you. If Sanji uses a fucking blue ogre, I'm going to lose my shit. Oh god. And so it comes back around. Also, Nami. Technically he did last chapter, did he? Where? Oh, Ifrit is a blue demon. I see, I see. But yeah, I'm suspicious that the Holy Knights are like Dark Souls bosses and there's going to be a stage 2. I am suspicious of them. Because Oda is implying through what Killingham's saying that there's going to be more. And if you overlook him, something bad is going to happen. Especially with Sanji going, I don't know about that. So I'm sensing a stage 2. Celestial docking. Okay, I'm going in my box. Where am I? There I am. All right, I'm going to be back to stream Marvel Rivals. I'll probably be back in like 10 minutes. If you want to join, you can join. If not, sorry for the rambling. Sorry I go insane. Sorry I swear a lot. I'm passionate. I'm just passionate. What can I say? I just love this series. I will see you guys in, what, 10 minutes maybe? Perhaps. All right, so see you guys in the Rivals stream. If not, thank you for joining. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the donations. Always super duper appreciated. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye.